Good morning, friends. Happy Sunday. This is a gentle yoga class. I am just logging on so that people know that they're in the right place. We'll get started in probably 3 or 4 minutes. So, welcome. Go ahead and check in. Good morning, everyone. Any requests for today? Has to be a gentle request. I've assured Brad over and over that this class will stay gentle. Let's chat about... Oh, we're actually going to start in child's pose, Brad. That's awesome. Let's talk real quick about some prop options. If you are thinking that this Sunday yoga will become a regular thing for you, that is wonderful. A common prop to use in yoga is a yoga block. It looks like this. You don't have to have a yoga block to get the benefits of one. Kind of thick hardback books are a similar size for what these do, and these just serve to bring the floor closer to you for poses like forward fold. If maybe you can't quite reach the floor, you can reach for a block at a bunch of different heights instead. So you can see how a book might help with this if you don't have an actual yoga block at home. You can use things that you have around the house. Also, something of similar height would be like a water bottle. And again, it's just to help raise the floor to you if you can't quite touch the floor yet. So not necessary, just a way to help your yoga practice feel a little more comfortable. I posted a playlist link on my Coach Sprinkle page. It's called Stress Free or something like that on Spotify. It's not as calm as the instrumental ones that I have suggested in the past, but it's just kind of a happy boppy mix of songs. So feel free to put that on in the background if you would like. I want to give a special shout out to any Coop Dreams followers who are watching today or maybe watching later. My Reed and Davey are my parents, and Brad was my younger brother's soccer coach in college. So it's funny to me how together they still are, and that my parents are into a farming show. It's not anything that I ever would have predicted, but they seem to love it, and lots of people seem to love it too. So I'm happy that you guys are here. Good morning, Christine. Yes, good morning, Coop Campers. I met some of you last year for the goat yoga, so this class will be similar to that level of intensity. If you're here, I'm going to kind of read the comments for a little bit longer, see if people have requests. But if you're here and you're ready to go, just find a comfortable seated position to start. We're going to do some neck stretches first, and then very quickly, Brad will get into child's pose for you. So we're starting in a comfortable seated position for you. That can be crisscross applesauce or kind of a kneeling, sitting with your shins underneath you, like a kneeling like that if it doesn't bother your knees. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So having a seat, crisscross, start to connect to your breath. So one of the first things we do in every single yoga class is connect to our breath, which helps you come into the present moment. So don't change anything about your breath. Just notice it coming in through your nose and try to let it go out of your mouth. You can make kind of a big dramatic sighing motion, and actually feel your body physically release any tension with that big sigh out of your mouth. Hi Joanna, you made it. Happy Sunday. Hi Caroline. So we're just connecting to our breaths to start. In through the nose, big sigh out of the mouth, and just physically feel your body release tension and stress from sleeping, from doing yard work, from working on the farm, from workouts. Just breathe it out. We'll take 2 more breaths like this. And in yoga also, we really want to practice staying in the present moment. It's very hard, and I don't expect anyone to do it all the time, but the breath can help bring you back to that. So if you find your mind starting to wander off to other things, what's for lunch, your chore list for the week, anything like that, bring it back to the present moment by focusing on your inhales and your exhales. All of that stuff will be here when you're done, but right now the next hour is just for you here on your mat. Close your eyes if you haven't already. We'll start at the top of your head and move down to your toes, either focusing kind of joint by joint, or you can think about particular muscle groups. So we just want to do a little check-in, see how your body is feeling today. So you're just looking for places that might be a little bit tight or holding on to tension. Usually when I do a body scan, I can feel my shoulders kind of creeping up to my ears, and so I want to just stay aware of keeping those loose as we go. See what you feel, and we'll do another scan a couple times throughout the practice today so you can see how things change as we go. If you'd like to pick a word or a mantra for your practice today, go ahead and set that now. And then we'll begin. So take a deep breath in, sit up a little bit taller, lifting through the chest, top of the head. On your exhale, let your right ear just drop over to the right shoulder. Nice big neck stretch. For those of you that hold your stress in your shoulders and your neck like I do, these are wonderful stretches to do throughout the day to help you stay relaxed through your shoulders and also stretch out through the neck. So let's add on here, the right ear is over towards the right shoulder. Take the left fingertips and just reach them to the side of you. They don't have to touch the mat, but you're kind of reaching away from you to energize up that left arm, all the way from your fingertips up to your ear or your jawbone. The right hand can rest on top of the head. Don't pull, just let the weight of your hand kind of gently add a little intensity if you would like. Take 3 deep breaths. You can keep making that audible sighing sound if that is relaxing to you. When you finish this exhale, bring your hands back down to your knees, bring your chin up through center, take a couple of shoulder rolls. Take a deep breath in, sit up tall. We're going to the other side. And exhale, left ear over to left shoulder. Notice the difference between the two sides. This side of my neck feels much tighter. I think I slept pretty hard last night. So ease into it. You don't ever have to match one side to the other. If you'd like to add on, the right hand can reach off to the side, and the left hand can come to gently rest on top of the head. Couple deep breaths here. Remember, no pulling on the head, just let it rest gently. When you finish your next exhale, bring your hands back to your lap. Let your head float up through center. Take a couple of shoulder rolls. And then beginning with your gaze forward, let your shoulders relax, but just look to the right as far as you can. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, look to the left. So it's almost like we're practicing the motion of saying no. Shake your head no. And we're just slowly rotating right to left, exploring range of motion and keeping the shoulder blades, shoulders relaxed down. Inhaling to look forward each time and exhaling to either side. Let's go one more each direction. Try to keep your sides even with the amount of times that you go to each side. And then we'll come back through center. All right, it's time to change positions. We'll be moving to child's pose next. So the easiest way for me to do this is to just crawl over my legs, uncross my feet, and come to a tabletop position just like this. From here, you've got two options for your child's pose. You can bring your knees together and your feet together, press your hips back to your heels, and let your torso rest on your legs. Your arms will reach forward to the top of the mat. This is a nice option if you are very sensitive in your hips or you want a more restful child's pose today. The second option is to keep your big toes together, but to take your knees to the edges of the mat and then sit your hips back, and this deepens the feeling that you have in your hips as you let your torso come down, and you get a lot closer to the mat. Both of them are wonderful, restful poses. It's just up to you to check in with your body and see what you need today. Good morning, new friends, Candace and Brianna. Okay, so we're in child's pose. You're choosing knees together or knees apart. Maybe play with both and just see which one feels friendlier today. We'll start in a passive stretch, so just let your arms and hands rest towards the top of the mat. We're not energizing or stretching them. They're just resting. Come back to your deep breaths and take a moment to check in with your body in a new position here, facing the floor. So just scan top of the head down to the feet. On your next inhale, we will energize through the hands. So you're just going to reach your fingers to the top of the mat as far as they can go. Feel that stretch start to happen down your arms into your shoulders and even under your shoulders down towards your ribs. Lift your palms up off of the mat so you're pressing your fingertips in to make little tents with your hands, and really press into the ground as you continue to lower your chest and head between your arms. You should feel a little difference here between that passive child's pose and now we're in an active reach ahead. Much more stretch and feeling in the arms. So I'd like for you to keep this tent shape with your hands. Inhale, reach a little further to the top of the mat. As you exhale, begin to walk your tents over to the left side. Keep your hips and your chest on your legs. but your arms walk over off of your mat to the left. A great, great side stretch down the right side. Take a couple deep breaths. And we'll inhale to come back to center. Reach to the top of the mat again. Stay active through those fingertips. Tent shape with the hands. Exhale off to the right side. Keep your torso on your legs or between them. Nice big stretch down the left side. If your head can reach, you're welcome to rest your forehead down on the mat. Take one more deep breath there. And then we'll inhale back to the top. On your next exhale, bring your hands down alongside you and kind of curl up in a little ball here. You can rock your hips side to side. I always imagine when I take this pose that I'm like a roly-poly rolled up and just kind of hunkering down inside of myself. Feels very safe and comforting. Okay, so I feel that I should say, for those of you who are maybe new, yogis love to encourage and remind that child's pose is available anytime. It's kind of the go-to pose. If your teacher's doing something that you are not up to that day, you just come back to child's pose, take a couple of deep breaths, and get reset. So that is an option for you anytime in any class. All right, we'll come to tabletop next. We're going to work on a little spinal rotation before we come to some standing poses. Gentle, I promise. So look down in between your hands. Wrists are right underneath your shoulders. Knees are right underneath your hips. And we're going to step the right hand to the left just one step so that it's right underneath your gaze. Your thumbs might overlap for a moment, but on your next inhale, we're going to bring the left arm up to open up to the left side of the room. Big reach to the ceiling. If that is uncomfortable for your shoulder, you can rest your hand on the back of your head, but we're trying to open up, face the chest as much to the left as possible. Big deep breath in. And exhale, bring the left arm underneath you to face the right side. Right hand stays where it is, and your head can come down to rest on the mat. This is called thread the needle. And how big your twist is up to you. It's okay to have your chest completely face the mat for more of a shoulder stretch, or if you want that rotation, try to rest on the outside of your shoulder. Bring your attention to your right hand. You can reach it long to the top of your mat for a nice under the shoulder stretch, or you can leave it where it is and press into the ground, which will help send the right shoulder more open to the left side. See how you guys are doing. Good morning, Emily. That's okay. You can start anytime. One more deep breath here. And then we'll unwind. Bring that left arm open to the left side. One more time. Open the chest. And exhale, left hand down to the mat. A couple deep breaths here. Maybe a few cat and cows if you would like. Then we'll switch sides. So step the left hand just underneath your gaze. One step to the right, thumbs may overlap. Then we'll inhale, the right arm will reach up. Open the chest as much as you can to the right side. And then exhale, bring the right arm underneath you to face the left. Thread the needle on this side. Left hand can press into the ground for more twist, or can reach ahead for a shoulder stretch. your deep breaths. It's probably a little harder here in this twist, but really work to get the air down into your lungs. One last deep breath. Bring the left hand back down towards your face. Inhale to open. One more time to the right side. Right arm reaches up. And exhale the hand down. Very good. We'll take a downward facing dog next. So tuck your toes in the back. Spread your fingertips wide through your hands. Really try to have that tree frog grip. So you're not pressing into your palm. You're tree frogging your hands so that the pressure comes into the tips of the fingers and also where the fingers meet the palm. This can be tricky to really get the hang of, but the more that you practice, it definitely becomes second nature. So tuck those toes, press into your finger pads, lift your hips up and back, and press your chest towards your thighs. Knees can bend as much as you need here. Alternate reaching the heels down to the floor like you're taking a little walk. It's called walking the dog. Just go side to side. We won't be here too long. Let your head stay loose. Inhale, raise up onto your toes and tiptoe your way to the front of the mat. Now we're in a forward fold. Knees are bending as much as possible, or as much as you need. I'll show you how the blocks can be helpful. So I'm here, I can't quite reach the floor, but if I bring these blocks or books here, I can press my hands into them and lift through my chest like this. It helps keep the energy in the back side as well as keeping me from just having dead weight kind of pulling on my spine. So blocks or books are always an option to help you lift through the chest or to give you some support if you don't quite reach the floor. Not necessary, just an option. Okay, one more breath here in the forward fold. And then in order to come up out of this, we're going to try not to just roll up so that we protect our low back. So on your next breath in, we lift through the chest first to have more of a straight spine. Then you can press into your feet to send your hips forward and you stand that way. It's just a little tweak you can make to keep your back really, really protected. So try it. Let me know if you notice a difference. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up. Exhale, thumbs to your heart. One more time, big deep breath in, reach up. Gather energy between your hands. Exhale, pull it down to you. We started working on Sun Salute B yesterday, so I'm going to walk us through the start of that today. So inhale, reach your hands up. As you exhale, step the left foot back. Turn the toes out just a little bit. So I'll walk us through this once we get here. Left foot is back. The left toes are pointing kind of 45-degree angle off of the mat. The right toes are forward to the top of the mat. This is warrior one. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, sink down into that front knee, but don't take it so that you can't see your toes. Press into both feet so that your hips square to the front of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. 3 deep breaths here. Press into that whole back left foot. I feel this a lot in my shin and my ankle on this side. And then it runs up the front of the leg right into the hip. You might feel that, you might feel something totally different. Take a deep breath in, reach the fingertips up. On your exhale, we're rotating to face all the way to the left side. The left toe will rotate as well so that they are parallel to the back of the mat. This is warrior two. If you want it to be harder or deeper, lengthen your stance and really sink down. You'll get a lot happening in the hips. If that's too much, shorten your stance. Take your gaze over your front fingertips. 3 deep breaths. Good, one more. On your next inhale, press your front knees straight so you come out of that lunge. Rotate on the right heel so your toes are facing the left side of the mat. And now we're in a wide-legged stance facing to the side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Start to hinge at the hips, sending them back behind you as you bring your chest down. You can let your hands rest on your thighs or slide down your shins, but we're coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Let your head be the last to drop and relax. Another good place to use your books if you need them. If your hands can come to the floor, you just let them rest on the floor. But here's how I could use my books or blocks to lift up a little more. Shake your hips side to side. One more breath here. Then we'll start to walk our hands back towards the top of the mat as we rotate on our feet. So we're facing the front of the mat. Press off the left toes to come into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Let everything hang here and be nice and loose. You can grab opposite elbows as you sway side to side. Relax the neck and shoulders. Drop the arms. On your inhale, remember, lift through your chest first so you come up to kind of a straight back. Then press your hips forward to help you stand the rest of the way. Next inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, pull that ball of energy down to you. One more time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, this time right foot steps back. Have that angle at the foot. I'll face this way this time so you can see. So back foot is about 45-degree angle. Front foot is facing forward. Press into both feet, which will help square your hips up. Inhale, arms come up. 3 breaths. Really press into the whole foot on both sides, not just the outside or inside corners. 2 more deep breaths. We're going to do the same sequence on this side as before, so you know what's coming. Deep breath in, reach the fingertips up. As you exhale, open your chest and your hips to the right. Rotate the back foot so that you're parallel to the back of the mat, and sink your hips forward into the lunge. Gaze over the front fingertips. Couple deep breaths here. Make sure you're not kind of reaching forward. You want to keep your shoulders over your hips, so you're sinking down into the knee this way to come forward, not leaning forward this way. Shoulders over hips. 2 more breaths. Very good. On your next inhale, press the left leg straight. Rotate on the left heel. We're facing the side of the mat again. Maybe the other side of your mat. I'm not sure. I'm always facing you. So start to rock the hips side to side. Really get into those inner thighs and hips. Hips are pretty gunky, tight place for most people. Okay, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, send your hips back behind you. Really exaggerate that. And then bring your hands down to the ground, your thighs, or a block. You can continue that side to side motion. It feels good. One more breath here. Then on your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back towards the left foot. So the left foot's in front. We're onto the toes of the right. Press off of those to step forward. We're back into a forward fold, probably at the top of the mat. On your inhale, lift the chest first so you straighten through the spine. Press the hips forward to come up. Very good. Deep breath in. Reach the arms overhead. Exhale, bring your thumbs to your heart. And then let your hands fall to your side. Close your eyes for me. We'll do another little check-in. This pose is called mountain pose or Tadasana in Sanskrit, or the main language of yoga. And I'm just going to walk us through a couple of key things. So let's start at the feet, your foundation, your connection to the earth. See if you can lift your toes so you're not gripping to hold you in place like crazy with your toes. They're wiggly and able to move around and you still stay steady. Think about now pressing into the whole foot. You should feel contact at the ball of the foot, down the sides, under the heel. We'll move up to your ankles. Above your ankles are your knees, very soft, not overly bent, but not locked out. Kind of bouncy to give you some spring. And we'll move up to your hips. I want you to bring your right hand to the front side of your hips and your left hand to that sacrum at the back side. And then just with your hands resting here, try to move your hips so that your left hand drops down towards the earth a little bit. This is just a tiny little pelvic tilt that will help put your spine in better alignment for posture. So I was standing here normally, and then I'm tucking my tailbone under to bring the left hand down in the back side. Not very exaggerated, just a tiny slight movement that engages some of my glutes and my core. Moving up the spine to the shoulders. Inhale the shoulder blades up to the ears. Roll them down and back, down your spine and back. And then from here, we want the ears over the shoulders as well. So just slide your chin back ever so slightly. And there we are, mountain pose. So it's a little more active than just standing on your mat. Press into your feet to energize up the legs. Tuck the tailbone just a little bit. Shoulders rolled up and back for engagement on the back side, and chin tucked back just a little bit. Very good. You can open your eyes. It's time for a little balance practice. We will do tree today. It's a very simple, wonderful pose to practice for balancing. So let's start with the left foot as our roots. Start to wiggle your left toes as you come up onto the toes of the right foot. So just my right big toe is still on the ground. We'll take this in stages. You stay at whatever stage feels challenging to you. If you feel like you have stabilized and mastered that stage, you can stay right there. If not, if you stabilize, you move on. If not, you stay right there. So we'll inhale to bring the right knee up in front of you so the thigh is about parallel to the floor. Something to watch for here is making sure you're active through this glute. So if I release the glute, this is what happens. My hips kind of shift over to the left and I get a little more unbalanced. Press into that foot like we just practiced to energize up the leg, engage the glutes, and keep your hips even here. So if you've got this mastered, we'll open the right leg to the side. Nice hip opening stretch here. And then bring the foot to the calf, or the toes can root down for a little more support. Try the calf for more balance practice. Keep pressing into that right leg. So see my hips are shifted over. Press into the right foot to lift you up out of that. Couple deep breaths. You can do whatever you like with your hands. Reach up, big growing branches. Pray for balance and stability. Hands can come behind you to open through the chest. Tons of options. Find something that works for you. If you fall over like I did, you just come right back into it when you're ready. Good. Standing tall. 3 deep breaths. Last one. Good morning, Bryson, Nicole. Bring the right foot back down to the ground. Shake the knees out a little bit. Let your arms relax. We'll switch sides now. So right foot kind of grounds and roots down. Left big toe comes to the earth. Then when you're ready, we'll inhale the left knee up. Prioritize those hips being level. Open to the left side and bring the foot down to that rooted leg. Press firmly into that right foot to help you stand tall. Find a happy place for your arms. Can be different than the first side. And once you're settled, 3 deep breaths. I'll teach you a little yoga trick. There's something called a drishti in yoga, which just means focal point. So it can really help you on balancing poses if you look at something that's not moving about 3 to 5 feet in front of you. Bring that to be your main focus for your eyes, and it will help you stay balanced. Last deep breath. And we'll exhale to come down. Very good. Shake the knees out. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale to fold forward, send your hips back. We're coming down into our last forward fold of the day. So we'll stay here for a little bit. Bend your knees, let your head and neck be heavy. And take any free movements that you would like. That can include kind of shifting side to side. You can gently grab onto the back of your calves. Excuse me. So gently pull yourself a little bit deeper to have some leverage there. Inhale to halfway lift. So we'll energize here. Come to almost a flat back. Hands can press into your shins or into the mat or block. And exhale, come down. We're stepping back to downward facing dog here. So step the right foot back, then the left. Press your hips up. Enjoy this one for a few breaths. You can alternate reaching the heels down. Now it's up to you. You can come straight down to child's pose, or you can inhale to slide forward to plank. Exhale, lower yourself all the way down to the mat. And inhale to lift to cobra. Up to you. Exhale, come down. Press to your knees, then fold back into child's pose again. Take a couple of deep breaths. And when you're ready, we'll come around to our back side. So just come up through tabletop, send your feet around to the top of the mat, and very slowly roll yourself back. You can grab behind your thighs for a little assistance to get slowly down. We're moving into deep stretch next. So start to come back to really intentionally focusing on your breath. We're taking deep breaths all the way down into the ribs. Send the left foot out long to the end of the mat. Bring the right foot straight up overhead. Ooh, look at these tight hamstrings. Grab behind the right thigh with your fingers, kind of interlace them together to make a little hammock. Press your hamstring into your hands as you drive your heel up to the ceiling. Take a couple of deep breaths like this. If you're very flexible, you'll come past this kind of perpendicular line and you can hug your leg to you as close as you can. I am not able to demonstrate that, but you don't have to be straight up to the ceiling if you don't feel anything there. Release the grip just a little bit. You can keep your hands there to help you if you need. And we're just going to take the foot and imagine it kind of like a windshield wiper going side to side, but your whole leg will rotate as your foot moves. So your toes are kind of going right to left, and that's causing your whole leg to go right to left inside your hips. One more here. Then we'll bring both knees into the chest, little squeeze. Press them away from you so the knees make about a 90-degree angle. You can bring your feet back down to the floor for help getting into this pose, but we're very slowly going to take both knees over to the left side. Try to keep your shoulder blades down as you rotate into this twist. Couple of deep breaths here. Then we'll inhale to come back through center. You can lift your knees and your feet up off the ground together or kind of walk them through, keeping your feet on the ground. This time, take the right leg straight to the end of the mat. Take the left leg straight up to the sky. Hammock your hands behind the hamstring. It's a lot of H's there. Press your heel up. Whew, and hold this stretch for a couple breaths. You can start to ease the grip of the hands as you take the foot to the left and to the right, noticing if there are any differences between the right and left side. This side is much harder for me to rotate externally with the hips. Just take the foot side to side a few times. The whole leg is moving, so it's not just the foot. Let the foot guide the movement of the leg. So your knee rotates side to side as well. When you're ready, hug both knees back down to your chest. You can do this one with feet on the floor or just dropping your legs over. Bring both knees over to the right side. Right leg is supporting the left, and you're in a gentle twist here. Couple deep breaths. Start to bring awareness back to your body, trying to release any tension with the exhale. Then we'll inhale to come back through center. Let your feet stay on the mat. Readjust your hips if you need to bring them back to center. Take both knees side to side. We'll end with a happy baby today, unless there's something else that you would prefer to end your practice with. I like happy baby because it's playful and it feels great on the hips. Reach your arms inside of your knees for the outside of your feet. Pull on your feet gently to bring your knees closer to your shoulders, but also kick back into your hands to get a little activation up the legs. You can rock side to side or play around with this however you would like. If there's a different stretch or pose that you would love more, go ahead and take that as well. This is the chance for you to customize your class. And when you feel Satisfied and complete, you can bring your feet back down to the ground. Start to find what your final resting pose will look like. So this is an option with your feet a little bit wide and your knees tucked in. You can rest your hands behind your head with your elbows open. You can take traditional Savasana, which is just flat on your back with your arms at your sides. If you really loved Child's Pose today, you can take Child's Pose. So take the next minute or so to get settled into your final relaxation pose, and then I will take us through a 5-point meditation. So once you're settled, bring yourself back to the present moment by bringing awareness to your breath. Do one final body scan from your head down to your toes, going muscle by muscle or joint by joint. If you can picture your lungs like a cup, try to visualize when you breathe in through your nose, you're filling up from the very bottom of the lungs, and you fill up just like a cup would with water. From the bottom of the lungs, up each rib, one at a time, into your chest, into your throat and mouth. And then when you breathe out with your exhale, you're emptying in the reverse. So you're emptying mouth, throat, chest, one rib at a time down to the tip of your lungs. Picture that breath coming in, filling your lungs up that way, and then that breath going out, exiting your body, just as dumping out a cup of water would. See too, if as you exhale, you can find parts while you do your body scan to release and relax a little bit more. Let them be heavy to the mat. Okay, this 5-step meditation is a great one to do at the end of yoga, in any kind of anxious moment throughout the day to bring you back to the present. I love to do it when I'm running. But we're just going to go through the 5 senses, starting with your sense of sight. If your eyes are closed, then you can just imagine 5 things. If your eyes are open, you can look around your room. But find 5 things that you see in this moment right now. Kind of list them out to yourself. Focus on them for a moment. Then we'll move on to 4 things that you can hear. This could be things within your body. Start practicing looking for and hearing your breath and your heartbeat. It could be things coming from your house that maybe you don't notice until you give yourself time to be still. It could be things that you hear outside. 4 things. We'll move on to 3 things that you can feel. Try to make these physical things to help keep you in this present moment. Is there any furniture around you that you feel? Where do you feel your body make contact with the earth? Do you feel any sunlight on your face or maybe some air conditioning blowing? 3 things that you feel. Move on to 2 things you can smell. And finally, we'll end with 1 thing you can taste. This one's a little tricky, I think, but If you've had coffee today, maybe it relates to that. One thing you can taste. And then we'll try to combine them all together. Feel your body feeling kind of heavy, but also weightless at the same time. Maybe it's hard to feel what kind of position you're in. Please stay here as long as you have time. Enjoy the quiet stillness. Thank you again for meeting me here this Sunday. This week felt like it flew by. And I hope to see you guys next Sunday too. Have a great week.